Take us back to your earliest rugby league memory. You've been playing since a young fella. Where'd you play your local footy at up in Queensland when you were a kid?
Yeah, I started out in Ipswich. I played a couple of years in Ipswich before my parents and that moved to the Gold Coast. So I spent time at Ipswich Brothers, and then we went to the Gold Coast. So I played at Runaway Bay Seagulls for probably up until about 17. And from there I went to the Broncos system, and then did the 20s, the youth comp in the Bronx. And when I finished at Brisbane, I floated out to Wynnum. I spent a bit of time at North, and then went to Wynnum.
So what happened to Brisbane after that under 20s? Did they give you any guidance? Did they say, keep working at it, you might get a chance to come back here, or was that kind of a line in the sand when you left there?
Nah, so I was kind of on a I guess not a training trial, but I was only going in twice a week in the full-time pre-season when I finished 20s. So it wasn't really anything promising. But yeah, it was just dead end there with us. Nothing ever was really discussed about going out and maybe an opportunity coming back. So just kind of went out to Q Cup and then had to sort of pave a way out there and try and find another opportunity elsewhere.
Was that tough for you when you're 19, 20 years old, getting told that, there wasn't an opportunity at the Broncos for you?
Yeah, definitely. I've said this to a lot of people, like being a 20-year-old, 21 at the time, and it's kind of deflating. And it did impact me a bit a couple of years after leaving the Bronx system. But I think the best thing that happened to me was, I was impacted a bit like that, and then the COVID thing sort of happened, and I took a bit of time off that year to just sort of work on myself, and being a little bit older, I put a lot of time back into myself and found that confidence again. And I think that's where the sort of form sparked again when I come back last year. And 2019, I was playing some good footy, so it definitely took a bit of deflation when it all happened, but it sort of, all worked out in the right timing, I think, for me personally.
I was going to mention the COVID stuff. How difficult was that for you guys up there? A lot of you obviously are playing part-time and probably working as well. How tough was that situation with COVID the last couple of years? Yeah,
it was tough. I think since coming down here, I found out it's been a bit worse down here in New South Wales, but for me, it was kind of a blessing for me, I think. It sort of gave me a chance to refresh the footy side of things, and then just go back and sort of work on myself and get myself ready to go and have the year that I had. I went out with the intent last year to go have the best possible year I could. Otherwise, if nothing was to happen, I was thinking about just sort of giving it up, because I've obviously got my family now. I've got my 2 kids and my partner, so it's hard playing in that reserve grade comp and working all day as well. So it kind of was a blessing for me. I just put my head down and worked hard for the year, and fortunately it sort of paid off in the long run.
You guys had quite a bit of success last year. Obviously missed it in the grand final, but what was that like? What was that season like for you? And the opportunity to come down to Cronulla obviously came from the back of your own form.
Yeah, it was a really good season. We had a really good talented squad out there at Wynnum. Started the year really well. Went through a little bit of a slump to the middle of the year, but we come home real strong, and we just got pipped there in the grand final. That sort of happened. That just happens, I guess, in football. But for me personally, I did get I exceeded a lot more than what I thought I was going to do last year. I just wanted to go out, play some good football, and try and get a bit of get noticed by somebody. And I achieved a fair few personal accolades, it's always good. But the Sharks thing that topped off the year, that's pretty much that's what I was working for ever since the start of 2020. So 2 years of pretty much just busting my ass and working hard. It was good to get that recognition, and then obviously get that opportunity to move down here and give this a red hot crack this year.
You're obviously not a stereotypical NRL rookie. You're in your mid-20s now. You've got a lot of experience playing in lower grades. Do you think that will hold you in good stead coming into an NRL system?
Yeah, I think so. I think just being a little bit older, or just a little bit, I don't have the NRL experience, but obviously been playing in that reserve grade comp before. I'm just shy of 100 games now, so I think just the physicality of playing that senior footy, and just I think being a little bit older, I'm just a bit, just a bit more switched on in my head now, and like they were saying before, I think the timing of everything sort of worked out in my favour. I think if it was when I was a bit younger, I don't think I would have grabbed this opportunity with both hands like I'm going to do right now. So I think it's all sort of worked out in the right timing in the long run.
Off the back of that season you had last year in Q Cup, did you get any interest from the other Queensland clubs? Obviously Brisbane and North Queensland have been struggling a bit the last couple of years. Did they reach out? Were they keen to bring you in, or were Sharks the only club interested?
No, so I didn't really have much interest from any of the Queensland sides. My manager Matty Rogers, he did reach out to I think Gold Coast and Brisbane, but there was nothing really there for me. And then I had a couple of, I had like 3 or 4 teams down here in Sydney that were just sort of keeping an eye on me, including Cronulla. But yeah, sort of when the Cronulla thing come through, they were pretty much the really keen ones. Like they sort of said, like, give us a chance to work out how we can fit him in. We don't want to lose like the opportunity to sort of bring him down. So yeah, when that happened, within the space of 2 weeks, I had a meeting with the recruitment here and Fitzy, and like after that, I knew I wanted to come down here, and this is where I wanted to have a crack at it.
You obviously signed with the Sharks now. It's a big season for them. They're undergoing a little bit of a rebuild with a new coach. Obviously some big signings like Dale Finucane, Nico Hines, Cam McInnes. Is that an exciting prospect for you to be coming to a club that's kind of in that rebuild phase and looking to possibly compete for a top 4 spot this year? Yeah,
definitely. I think like the boys, like you said, that they've brought in are all top quality footballers, and they're tough footballers that I like to think I sort of try and play my game like a lot of them boys, just do all the little things, do all the tough things, and they're training really well and everything's looking really good at the moment at training. So it's exciting to see like what the leadership from Dale and Cam coming in, what it's going to do to the squad, and how the boys are going to react to it.
You're obviously a hooker yourself. You mentioned Cam McInnes and Blake Brayley's been at the club for a minute now. How have you gotten along with those 2 guys? Have they given you any advice since you've arrived at the club?
Yeah, no, we've been getting on really well. Cam's sort of playing that 13 role at the moment, really trying to adapt to that, get into that ball plan, sort of running lock role at the moment. But Browse has been really good. He's a classy player. I honestly think he could be one of the best 9s in the comp. So it's exciting to see what having this forward pack around him is going to do for his game as well. I think he'll be in for a massive year. But no, it's been really good. We're working off each other. We're helping each other get better. So it's been really good.
You mentioned Fitzy before. Obviously, there's a bit of hype around him coming into the club. He's been in the Rooster system. He's done work in Origin. He's obviously a highly touted coach. Have you had many conversations with him so far? Has he spoken to you about anything he wants you to work on in this pre-season?
Not really. We had a couple of brief conversations when I first come down, but it's pretty much the same across the board. We're just trying to get a culture here that no matter who sort of comes into the side, knows their role, knows their job within the team. It's nothing really like one person needs to be doing something. We just want to make it a standard, so whoever it is filling in that role knows what they've got to do, and they can come in and do that job that week.
You mentioned your manager Matt Rogers before. He's obviously a legend of the club. His family synonymous with the Sharks. Was that a driving factor in did he speak highly about the club when you were talking about coming here?
He did, mate. He was super pumped too when it all sort of happened, and it was funny. It was all very coincidental that it did happen, but he was over the moon that it sort of all worked out the way it did, and we've ended up down here. But it's been good because he's been able to help me sort of get my bearings as well. Help me out if I need things down here because he's pretty familiar with it all. So it's been really good.
Now, have you adapted to life? Are you living in the Shire now? Are you living close to training, and how's Sydney been treating you since you've moved down here?
Yeah, so I'm only about 5 minutes from the club now, so it's a lot better than when I was back in Queensland driving from Gold Coast to Brisbane every day to train. So it's been really good, and I'm loving it down here. It's an awesome spot. I feel like I've hit the jackpot sort of ending up in the Shire here. It's a wonderful place. The family love it down here too, so it's really good. Hopefully we can have a good year and then see what happens, maybe spend a little bit more time down here, but it's good. I'm really enjoying it down here.
Yeah, they don't call it the Shire God's country for nothing. Just the last few from me, mate. If you could name one player, or perhaps a couple in the NRL that you'd like to model your game off somewhat heading into this season.
I said it last year, obviously Isaac Luke come into our Wynnum team last year, and he helped me a lot just with my game as a 9. And I always said to him, like, when he was like coming, like his Rabbitohs days and that, when he was really in his prime, that's the kind of hooker I love to play like just a tough 9, a running 9. So like, yeah, someone like him back when he was playing, everyone sort of remembers Isaac Luke. He was one of the best 9s at one stage. So just a tough running 9 like himself.
And just lastly, mate, what would you say is your number one goal for the 2022 season in Cronulla?
Obviously, like, I want to get my debut. Like that's the biggest thing. That's why I'm here, is to try and get that debut. But just want to keep sort of playing on from what I done last year, and getting better and taking that into the next level in NRL, and hopefully getting a spot in the side, keeping a spot there, and then hopefully achieve maybe like a contract extension, whether it's here or somewhere, but just sort of try and stay in the NRL system now for a little bit. I got my foot in the door now, so it's up to me to sort of go out and keep getting better, and then hopefully stay in here for a little bit.
Thanks a lot, Jayden, for your time. Really appreciate it, and best of luck for the season with the Sharkies.